Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned into the Motivational Hour with your host, Donald L. Dowridge Jr. Just a little bit about me as your host. For the last, 29 and a half, we'll say 29 and a half years, I have been the founder and creator of DLD Enterprises, determined to learn and develop. I retired from the United States Post Office after 5.5 years and becoming the first minority manager, if you will, of a department there. I retired at the young age of 39 to begin DLD. And I'll tell you, it has been a ride since from November the 22nd to this current day, going on 24 years later. So this is the first of many shows to come your way in reference to the Motivational Hour. We'll have guests on the show, and these guests will be enlightening, and empowering, motivational, spiritual, and we'll even talk about social issues, cultural issues, and many other. How about some sports? Anybody interested in sports? You know, it's the NFL season. It's popping right now. And we'll also be talking, as I said previously, about we'll dib and dab in the entertainment world as well. So with all that said, and again, welcoming each of you in to the broadcast. Again, my name is Donald L. Dowridge Jr. Enough of me right now. We're going to bring on my special guest for this first show. Now, check this out. He get to be the first guest, not the second, not the third, not the fourth, but the first guest. And my guest is no other than coach, pastor, or pastor, coach, however you want to put it, all due respect, K.L. Muldrow, as he's known. I'll let him tell you about his name, but usually when we address each other, you know, he'll say DLD in the building, and I will respond with Coach Pastor Muldrow. I had to shorten it just for the courtesy, but he's my special guest today, and we're going to dib and dab into his business, where he come from, where he come out of, his day, should I say, his initiatives nowadays, and what prompt him to do the things that he is doing in the community here in Tampa, Florida. So without further ado, I bring to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Pastor Coach Kenneth L. Muldrow. Pastor, Coach, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine, Mr. DLD. Man, it's a blessing and a pleasure to be anywhere with Mr. Donald Dodger Jr. because he's the man on the top shelf. And so it's a blessing. Thank you for having me. And I'd like to be first in everything. I'm going to tell you a couple of firsts before we get into who I am. I'm going to tell you a couple of things I was the first in. I was the first sibling to graduate from college.
Awesome.
I was the first educator at Gaither High School, black educator at Gaither High School, the first track coach, the first. I was the first track coach, man. Won the first district. So there's a lot of firsts, man. And so I thank you for having me. And just a little bit about myself. I'm born and raised right here at the T-Town, Tampa, Florida. It's my home. I'm a native of Florida, man. I'm proud of the Sunshine State. I'm proud of Tampa, Florida, man. I've been around the world, man. I still say this is the best place in America, right here, Tampa, Florida.
Okay.
Born and raised, went to TBT, Tampa Bay Tech. At that time, it was a vocational high school. My regular school would have been King High School, but back then, all of the students that want to take a trade, vocational, they can apply for Tampa Bay Tech. So I went to Tampa Bay Tech, came out of there in 78, graduated with an auto mechanic certification, went on to college and played some ball up in Sioux City, Iowa, Lamar's, Iowa, college called Westmont University, played 4 years there, had a great career, headed for the CFL, the NFL, and I had a call in my life to do ministry. And that's a long segment to take that. So I ain't gonna give you that testimony this time. And then from there, I came back here to Tampa and started working in the school district of Hillsborough County. Did 35 years in the district. Retired about 3 years ago. And coach football, track, student intervention, human relations, counselor, PE coach. I was some of everything in the district during that time. But most inspiring is being able to coach those student athletes. From there, always been in ministry now for about 40 years at a young age. When I came out of college, the General Assembly Church, I was at New Philadelphia, been in a couple of churches, but currently I'm at the General Assembly Church, where I'm the outreach youth pastor there. And love evangelism, love reaching out, love doing things in the community. And guess what? That's how I met you, brother.
Well, I was about to say that, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show. He done gave everything. He done summed it up just that quick. So thank you very much for being my guest. But I want to say that you say number one in everything. So let me ask you this question. I see you have, is that a number 8 on your shirt there?
This is the number 8.
All right. Well, let me. If you're number 1, all right, why are you wearing number 8? When I saw that number 8, the first thing came to my mind was Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens. Now you saying that you Tampa. So what's going on here with that number 8? Are you Tampa, but you kind of sneaking over to those Ravens?
Nah, because there's no Ravens and you don't see no bird on here anywhere. But the letter 8 represents a new beginning. And I'm actually close to representing the Cowboy colors because that's my number 1 team. Although okay. Tampa, I'm born and raised in Tampa. We didn't have a team when I was coming up.
Right.
Our team didn't come till I was in high school.
Right.
So Tampa, it's on my list. But let me tell you how it go. Dallas Cowboys, LA Raiders. Back then it was Los Angeles Raiders. Then I had the Baltimore Colts. You know about the Colts, not the Raiders, but the Colts. That was my 3 team. And then Tampa on the scene.
Yeah.
Guess what? All those teams has won the Super Bowl.
And we talked about that. Believe it or not, we talked about this same thing. What was it? Last week we were talking about that, or a few days ago we were talking about our number 1 teams and how our teams go with the NFL. So yeah, we on the same plight because I see you have the Bucks. I have the Bucks. They're my number 2. You have the Ravens, and I have the Ravens as well. And I gotta say, Baltimore Colts number 1. And let me say this: that as a toddler or as a young kid living in Baltimore, Turner Station, I had no idea at that time what football was and what the NFL was. But my little friends and I, we were on a street called Sparrows Point Lane, and we were playing outside. And as we were playing, this tall gentleman came out of this door. And the gentleman, he looked at us, and quite naturally, we looked at each other and we looked, such as. And the gentleman said, he asked us, he said, "Do you know who I am?" As kids, we looked at each other and giggled and whatnot. And we said, "No." He said, "I am John Mackey, number 88. I'm the wide receiver, tight end for the Baltimore Colts. Watch me this Sunday." And brother, I'll let you know, from that moment to this moment, I have been in tune to playing football, but of course the NFL. Now I didn't reach as high as you did within the sport, but I'm there. So yeah, we talked about that, and sports is a very integral part of a lot of young people's lives. The boys and more so girls nowadays. So we have to take our hats off to the young ladies as well, because they are highly involved in sports. As a matter of fact, there's a Tampa Bay team that is tackle football that is made of all women.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure you, I don't know if you know Coach Green.
Yeah, I'm familiar with them.
Yeah. So with that said, as you said, you have been in the community from day one. You came back to Tampa from playing sports in college, and you got that calling from God to go into the ministry. As you went into the ministries, and like you said, when you and I met, and I believe that you were at Greco Middle School at the time.
That was correct. Let me give you a good rundown on how it went for me. Suffolk Springs Elementary, Gaither High School, Greco, Blake, where I did 16 years. From Blake to McLean to Webb is where I retired from. So that was my journey.
Now, how long were you at Greco?
4 years.
4 years. Now, as I recall, or better yet, let me not say as I recall, because I want you to, be open about your profession and whatnot, and how your skills played a part in molding generations of our kids, generations of our young students to grow and to, whether they went to college or whether they just graduated and got a job or what have you. What were some of the seeds that you imparted in these kids, whether it's at Greco, whether it's at Blake, or what have you, Webb? What were some of the lasting impressions that you think you made with most of your students? And some of the students today, I'm sure, when you're out and about, you run across some of them and they give you tokens of gratitude immensely.
Well, my whole mission, coming into the school district as well as ministry, is to inspire and empower youth, young adults, and adults. And I was in that platform dealing with a lot of youth and young adults in the school district, as well as in coaching. So one of the things I always try to do is build a rapport and find out what their interest is. Once you build a rapport with a student and find out their interest, then what's going to keep them as a magnet is when you say you're going to do something, you do it. If you say you're going to give them a reward, if you say you're going to be there for them, whatever you say you're going to do, you got to do it, because that's how you glue. That's how you put that glue on it. And I think what happened to a lot of adults is they promise kids stuff and they don't come through. So then they lose them. So, and then after I build that rapport with them, then I think one of the number one foundation I try to build with them is respect. I respect you and you respect me. There's no way around that. We have to have that mutual respect. And then when you gather that mutual respect, you get trust. And then we start talking about, hey, now let's talk about your goals and your dreams. And when you meet your goal and your dream, my whole thing is each one, reach one, teach one. So if I teach you how to achieve your goals and dream, then I want you to come back and do the same thing for Lil Pookie them, your cousin, your nephew, or somebody else in your neighborhood, somebody that's coming behind you. I need you to do the same thing I did with you.
Right. Play it forward.
Pay it forward. They call it pay it forward, but I call it each one, reach one, teach one.
So, when you say that when you instill in the students and adults, all right, you want them to know that, hey, your word more or less is all that you have. And me coming from, if I can, well, I'm originally from Baltimore, but I spent X amount of years in the South Bronx, New York. And it's funny because of the fact that when rap came on the scene, you heard a lot of the rappers saying, word is bond. My word is bond. So basically what you're telling these young superstars, I'll call them superstars, is that, hey, your word is all you got. So your word is bond. So what you wearing Jordans, so what you wearing the latest threads and what have you, but your word, that's all you have.
Yeah, that's what you build the foundation on, is the word, your word. And if your word means something, then it's truth. Your word don't mean nothing if you're lying to me. So, we can't build no foundation on that. So you have to build a foundation on truth. And that's where that biblical principle come in at. When you fellowship in the churches, it's got to be built on truth. If not, if you build it on a lie, it'll crumble at any time.
It'll crumble at any time. It'll be like a tree sitting on a hill, if you will, next to an ocean. And as soon as that ocean get rough, that tree's going to fall, because the foundation is not as strong, such as brick, if you will. So right away, it's going to cave in. So in reference to the students, I mean, what is the ratio? What would you say the ratio in reference to the thousands of students that you have had the opportunity to educate? And when I say educate, whether it's in the classroom, because I've seen you in action, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's coaching track and field, whether it's coaching football. I mean, what would you say your ratio of empowering, impressing, and building confidence within the students that have given them, how can I say, that foundation to be of confidence, to be assured themselves, and to know that they're going to be a success in their lifetime?
Well, the fruit of the labor has been shown for the last 2 generations, because I'm on the 3rd generation now. Just gave out a scholarship yesterday to a young lady. I coached her daddy, mentored her daddy. Now I'm on her. So we're on the 3rd generation. You know that guy named Tyrone Keys. We're on the 3rd generation. So
yes, Tyrone Keys. He played with the 1985 Chicago Bears Super Bowl team.
Right. So we've been tag teaming and double teaming kids for the last 35, 40 years. But I would truly say a 90% ratio. I tried to get 100, D.
Yeah.
But I think I got about 90% of all the kids. Now what you got to think about is the impact, because when you make impact, you have to have momentum, then you have to be consistent. Let me say that again, because I might have flew over somebody's head. You make an impact. I don't care what you're doing in life. Make an impact, get momentum, then be consistent. That's how you get great results. That's how you get the top of the chart, be on the top cream of the crop. So think about this, D. 35 years of coaching and in the classroom. So the average classroom when I was in PE is 50 kids. Okay. In a classroom, it could be 35 to 40. The average team is between 50 and 75. It depends on if it's track or football.
Right.
So you times that, times 35. You know, that's a lot of people you planting seeds in.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so something, you know, when you plant a seed, something's going to grow, especially if you plant it and you're watering it and you're getting the right, you putting in the right element. So what I tried to do is put these kids in a different element than they would that they was already in. For example, if they was in West Tampa, I tried to take them downtown. I tried to take them out of town. I tried to take them and show them, give them vision of what it could be. Give them a hope.
Greater than.
Yeah.
What's greater than their surroundings, their neighborhood, or their hood, so that they can see that there's a world out there and it's upon them to venture into the world. Correct?
After these messages, Donald L. Dowridge Jr., motivational guru, facilitator, author, actor. In 1992 he started DLD, determined to learn and develop enterprises in Tampa, Florida. Donald had a vision of creating a motivational minority business that focused on motivating, educating on the subjects of life skills, winning attitude, being an overcomer and achiever at goal setting, and how to persevere to reach those milestones. Donald is the author of 14 top-selling books. He likewise has hosted top-rated radio broadcast entitled Motivational Moments, which turned out to be his 14th book. If you have not seen him in his 12th year of portraying the great abolitionist and freedom fighter, Frederick Douglass currently is the designer of bloodwear t-shirts that has taken the market by storm. For more information on DLD Enterprises, visit our website and other social media. DLD Enterprises motto: hands that help are hands that care.
That is correct. I'm gonna give you a true living testimony. I took a young man. I used to do a golf tournament for scholarships at Blake High School. I had a young man, one of the football players, go out on the golf course with me. And when we went out on the golf course, D, you know how it is. You got them pretty houses stuck right back on the back.
Yeah, on the backdrop. Yeah.
And he told me about 2 years later, after he was in college, he said, "Coach, you know what did it for me? When I was sitting on that golf court, I was riding on that golf cart, and I say, man, I want something like this in my life. I want to have a home like this." So that seed was planted, and so that gave him more drive to stay focused and to go to college and to be successful. So we never know how we're affecting people. We never know what's going that trigger is going to be for that kid or for that young adult.
So, I mean, Coach, you're giving me a lot of positive ammunition here in reference to your impact. So let me play devil's advocate on the flip side of that. I know that, like you said, 75, 80% of the kids that you have touched, inspired, and empowered and taught. But what happens when you come across some of those kids that, yeah, they know you, yeah, coach is cool, but yeah, I'm gonna go do what I do. And next thing you pick up the paper and X amount of those kids, let's just say 25%, no, let's drop it, 15% of those kids, and I'm talking about from the whole lump sum of kids that you've touched in the 30 years, 25% of those kids, man, when you pick up the paper, you saying to yourself, darn, I tried to tell them. So what do you say about those kids that just missed it? They just missed it, and all of a sudden, they fell off. Do you feel like it was somewhat your responsibility, or you felt like, hey, I done gave all I could into this child, but unfortunately, the other elements. Now let me finish. When I say the other elements, unlike when I'm older than you, so I came out of the dinosaur age, but and even with you. But now when we turn around with what all the things that are hitting at our kids nowadays, you wound up, as powerful as you are, you wound up being just an inkling of empowerment compared to all the other segments of issues and technology and friends and foes that are coming at our kids. So when you pick up the paper per se, and you see that 25% that missed it, what is your reaction knowing that you done gave all that you had?
Well, my reaction is this. I would have been a very disappointed person if I didn't give them the opportunity. See, once I give them an opportunity and they take advantage of or didn't take advantage of it, I've done what I'm supposed to do. Because after all, it's going to be their choice of whatever they get into. So yeah, it saddens. It's frustrating sometimes to see some of the kids fall through the cracks. I've seen some of them fall through the cracks and didn't graduate. I've seen some fall in the cracks. I've seen some super athletes who I know could have been in the NFL, but like you say, the choices of the streets sucked them in, and they didn't make it. And years later, I see them. I say, you could have made it. He said, yeah, coach, I know, and I made my mistake. And some of them rebound, right, a little later on, but some of them don't make it. Some of them going on to the other side, with whatever decision that they make. Yeah. But I have peace if I've given them an opportunity.
But you're at peace with yourself because you stepped out, and you'll probably, if I can, you'll say, well, Lord, I'm going to go in. You might have got that calling, as you say. You go in and you work with them individuals, even though, the chances are slim. But when it's all said and done, you can walk away saying that, okay, I'm comfortable, Lord. I've done what you asked me to do. So the rest is on them.
Yes, the rest is on them. And you got to keep in mind, even our Father, our Heavenly Father, wish that we all make it. Yeah. But guess what? Somebody ain't gonna make it.
Somebody ain't gonna make it. It's almost like, I'm sure you heard of Napoleon Hill. And what he says that, it's unfortunate that a portion of us are born, there's two envelopes, one positive and one negative, meaning that, that there's optimism and there's pessimism. And unfortunately, those who are born in that negative envelope all through their life, they might have some high times, but unfortunately, they're going to have more, if I can use for less of a word, more drowning situations in their life than the elevated. And it entails all of us, to implant themselves around people who have a quest, who have a vision, who is focused on going to their next plateau. And as you know, Coach, and we all know at this point that, life does not pull punches. But when you're young, you have that thought pattern that, hey, it's my world. I can do what I want to do. And all of a sudden, somewhere along the line, we all get those wake up calls because I'm number one in telling. I got the wake up call. So, it's like you say, it's unfortunate, man, because we want all of our, kids. And the main thing of it is, and I keep it raw and 100, when we are born out of LOVE, love. But the question becomes, in the midst of being born out of LOVE, what happened along the way? And we're not responsible. So if I may say, when you were born, per se, you wasn't responsible for your family. Your family responsible for you. So in short, some of our kids who are born, they're born into those type families that, hey, I didn't ask to come to this family, but they have to deal with it. They have to wheel and deal with it. And unfortunately, they latch on, and latching on takes them to a destructive road.
Yeah, we can't control the cards that we was dealt. Some get aces, some get a club, some get a 2. But what we can do, for those of us that know the Lord, we can point them to the Lord because they can make it through him. I don't care how they come to this world. If they trust him, God will see fit to make sure they are blessed and that they can have a great, great, victorious life on this side. And then when you go to the other side, we already know what it's going to be like.
Yeah. So since you went on that road of ministry, let's come out of the school building and let's go into the church house. Can we do that?
Yes, sir.
So what prompted you? I know you say you got the call, to go in. So can we call? I know I call you pastor, but are you really deacon, or can you put clarification on your role in the church nowadays?
Well, some people call us elders, some people call us pastors, some people call us, people got these titles. It's all come back to being a son of God. But the particular church I'm in, I am a pastor. I played a role as a over shepherd.
Right.
But now I co-pastor with a bishop and a senior pastor. But my focus and mostly my assignment was youth and outreach. Now you see how that tied in together?
Yes, sir.
And so that's what I've been doing. I stay on my assignment. I fellowship. Of course, the pandemic got us doing some other things now. But my heart and my passion is reaching out to kids, reaching out to young adults. So currently what I'm doing now in ministry, I'm a chaplain of Tampa Bay Tech. So I go inspire and pray for them before they eat and
now,
talk.
Can allow me to interrupt? You say you're the chaplain of Tampa Bay Tech, and I want to publicly thank you for inviting me out to the game that my Terriers lost. But I want to thank you. Now, define, if you will, chaplain of the football team or chaplain of the school. How does that work?
Basically how that works. There's an organization called Huddle Touch. And when the team coming together, they huddle up. So what we are assigned to do is inspire them, empower them to be the best athlete that they can be. And then we try to in there as a support system, to help the coaches, assist the coaches, the prayer for their needs, their family needs. They're having some issues. They got another pair of legs is walking on campus to support them in their endeavors, spiritual development, character development. It's pretty much our lane.
Okay, so I noticed, and I just learned that our good friend, Donald Lott, and of course we know that Pastor Ellis, he's out there at Armwood, and now you're at Tampa Bay Tech. Is this an organization that you're involved in? Is this volunteer? Can you just divvy into it? How does it work? Or, is this an organization throughout the Tampa Bay region consisting of all the high school sports? Or is just something that is, pick and choose, if you will?
Well, let me give you a little history if we got time. Dr. Pastor Jeffrey Singletary, I don't know if you know Pastor Singletary.
Yes.
He started the Huddle Touch at Blake High School. I invited him in because I always had a chapel with my football team wherever I was. I invited him in to start a chapel service for my team. And from there, he had over 50 huddle touches across the nation.
Say that again.
50 huddle touches across the nation.
Huddle touches. Okay.
Yeah. So that's that. What that basically saying is there are individuals speaking as a chaplain for these teams from Central Florida to down south. He got some in Texas. He's got some basketball teams. And guess what? We just went into the professional rank because he speaks to some of the NFL teams. I don't know if you know RV Brown.
Yeah.
RV Brown does the same thing with the colleges. So this is an organization that making sure that they have some chaplains at these huddle touches in these schools. Schools that don't have them is because they maybe don't want one, or there's not somebody available to fill that slot at their high school. But there's a whole lot of huddle touches in Hillsborough County.
Okay, so if I may, I mean, is this, and if I'm getting too personal, let me know. So is this a paid organization, volunteering? I mean, do you volunteer to do this? And what is the impact on the ball players? And we're talking, varsity and junior varsity, correct?
Yeah, mostly varsity. Some people do junior varsity, and then you have some of the pastors at the local churches come in and do it as well. But it's not paid as far as money is concerned. But the Lord take care of you when you do.
Yeah.
So, but as far as money wise, it's not a money issue because we're not there for that. We're there to empower and to inspire these kids to be the best that they can be on and off the field, classroom, okay, on the sporting event field, and then to inspire them to go as far as they want to go, whether they want to go to college, whether they want to go to pro. We try to push them to their purpose.
Okay, so focusing on you as the chaplain for Tampa Bay Tech, does that open up the door for you to have free reign to go into the classrooms to check on the players, to make sure that student player is getting his academics and being astute in that area as opposed to, as well on the field, because you understand if you don't get the grades, you can't play. So do you play a part in that, keeping them focused on their academics?
Well, I play a part as far as in challenging them to do it, but I leave that to the coaches because, I was a coach, and that's our number one priority, to make sure these guys have great academics. And so I don't get in those coaches' lane. That's their lane. Okay. That's their responsibility, to deal with the parents, to deal with the classwork, to deal with the college coaches. I'm coming in, my lane is empowerment, inspiring, praying for them, being that extra support for them.
So when you
great organization, Huddle Touch, and they have some camps every year, free camps every year for these huddles, so they come together.
So when you have the prayer, like you see that on the NFL games after the contest, they're panning the camera around, and you see a group of players over to the side kneeling, praying. Is that the same scenario that goes on with you guys?
Well, they probably do it after the game, but what I'm doing is before they pregame meal, I bless the food and I pray over them. Okay. So we do it in the in-house setting right before the pregame, before they get into the night game. But now there are some of the chapels go out on the field. Like when I was coaching, if I didn't have a chaplain there, whatever, we would always call for both teams to come on. Hey, let's thank God for this night. Win, lose, or draw. We're still grateful that we're breathing, that we're healthy. So that's what that's all about.
Yeah, well, when you say win, lose, or draw, I will say that it was a blessing and an honor to be in the audience and to watch that game. And, there were certain situations that I saw that showed me that, these young guys out there on the field, that they were really in tune to the game. They wanted to win. The rivalry was real. The contest was pumped. As a matter of fact, the announcer, he just brought a whole new face to, being a professional announcer. But I tell you, when he said, "Who that, tech, tech, tech," and the crowd would respond. Even though terror, Hillsborough terror, I gotta say, I really got into that and I enjoyed it. Matter of fact, I was there with my nephew. My nephew was the guy you saw me sitting next to, and no, he didn't go to the school. However, his stepson, number 21, plays with the team. So, he was into it as well. And every time my man went tech, 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 he would start laughing. So, just the rivalry, just to see these kids, man, getting into it and enjoying it. You see what I'm saying? Like a Friday night fight or a Friday night outing, sport outing, and with no issues, off the field issues or whatever. So that makes for an occasion that our young people can enjoy, as well as the family, involved in it as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very dynamic. It took me about 43 years to go back to my original school because I couldn't go back because I was at the other school. There'd been a conflict of interest. If I'm at Gaither, if I'm at Greco, if I'm at Blake, and I'm over there at Tech doing some stuff. So I could never do anything for my own alma mater. But now, since I'm retired, I can go back home and give back now. And
I'm bringing where it all started at.
Yes, sir. I'm bringing in people like Coach Phil Dawns, who played in the NFL and played at Tech. And I got all these old school alumni who's coming back and thanking these guys for keeping the history and the legacy going.
Yeah. I guess it could be a Marvel situation, having the opportunity to go back home and just imagine, allow me to go to the pro ranks, when you have retired football stars that go back and, partay into, whether they go back as announcers or whether they go back as on-field commentary or you, like you said, just go back as the chaplain, but being around the team that helped mold them in their life. I reckon that's a special occasion. So with you, when you played, by chance, is any of your coaches still around?
Oh, man. My coach, Coach Al Disson, brother, was my coach. and he was a hard-nosed coach. He's come from the old school. Back then, they could jack you up, and it wasn't no problem about you going home telling mama coming out to the field. Mama them applauded. Yeah, get him straight. But Coach Al Dixon, man, got thousands of guys in the college, and that would inspire me to go coach, because I seen him go to bat for me to get me in school. So that's what I was doing when I was out there coaching, trying to get these young men into, school, college, and if there was a military, whatever, but give them another opportunity besides just graduate from high school. But yeah, Coach Dixon passed on. Matter of fact, since I went back, I'm going to do in his honor, the Coach Al Dixon MVP Player of the Year for Tampa Bay Tech. So I'm going to keep his name going and keep a buzz going out there, because he's a great coach.
Okay. Well, let me do this real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are listening, or should I say you are tuned in to the Motivational Hour. And
introducing Daniel Roscoe White Jr. He is the CEO and founder of NSYS, National Student Athletic Society. He has more than 35 years' experience in human services in the director's positions, also in coaching, talent scout, recreation, middle, high school, and collegiate education, mentoring, and played as a former professional athlete. As a child, his aspirations were to be a good athlete and student. Academically, however, after high school he realized how inadequately prepared he was for the challenges that lay ahead. As a result of the struggle, both as a college student and seeking employment. This, however, led him to prayerfully to create the National Student Athletic Society. NSYS's mission is to create a framework for learning, athletics, and job opportunities that shall enhance the potential, self-esteem, and dignity of the athletes and families. We will create an environment that promotes educational literacy, has supportive programs, and offer services that support optimal development and growth.
And I am your host, Donald L. Dowridge Jr. You might have heard me on different radio stations throughout the country, entitled the Motivational Moment, where I spend 60 seconds of inspiring you. If you want more information on myself and DLD, ladies and gentlemen, you can go to www.DLD Enterprises website. You can check me out on social media, all the platforms, I'm there. And while you're checking me out, take a moment and check out 2 of my 14 books. The first one is The Power of Being a Winner, which was #1 on Barnes & Nobles in 2013. And also November the 28th, 2019, which was my birthday, my 14th book, Motivational Moments, made its debut. Check them out when you get a chance. All right. Again, you are tuned into the Motivational Hour, and my #1 guest, not number 8, but my #1 guest is no other than Coach Pastor K.L. Muldrow. Pastor, thank you for hanging in there with me. You are inspiring, empowering, and your story thus far. I'm sure that when audience tune in to the show, they will get some nuggets from, the information that you are willfully sharing with them. So as I was doing a little PSA, I saw you sipping. I saw you sipping. You see what I'm saying? Now I gotta let you know, my brother. Let me go street one time. Don't tell me he picking up the bottle again. My boy sipping on air. Yeah. So what was that you was sipping on, my brother? I mean, the blue bottle.
This is the classic, the one and only. You're looking at the CEO, not only the pastor, coach, but also entrepreneur. Looking at the CEO. I designed this one day about 3 years ago, and this is called Outstro Blue. I got an Outstro Gold.
Say the name again.
Outstro Blue.
Outstro.
This is the Outstro Blue, man. This is OUCHDROW.com.
That's a little bit of your name in there, isn't it?
Yes, sir. And how that came about is my brother my brother, one of my older brother, he's passed on and gone be to the Lord. He would say a joke instead of saying "more dro," he would say "ouch, dro."
Okay.
Like somebody step on your foot, you say "ouch," right?
Ouch,
so he
dro.
would say "ouch, dro." And so when he passed, we started a whole company: real estate, water, shoes, and you seen some of the other stuff that we have out there. So yeah, if anybody interested in that ouch, dro water of life, just go to outro.com, or you can call me at 813-550-7147. D, how it tastes, man? I gave you a couple
Man, look at
bottles.
here, man. You gave me a whole case, bro. And I'm gonna be honest with you. You know I'm a giver. And I wound up keeping 5 bottles for myself. And it was El Delicio, no doubt. El Delicio. And as a matter of fact, when you gave me the case, the last case you gave me when I left you, I took 5, stashed them to the side, and I just started going out giving them to people in people in my circle and what have you, because I am a giver. And I got a lot of thank yous, and yes, there were some delicious. And HEALTY. I hope I spelled it right, but I think let's see, HEALTHY, healthy. Yes, yes. And you know what? Off the record, well, I guess we recorded now, so it's going to be on the record. But I want to thank that beautiful young lady who walked in the classroom when I was in the 6th grade, and she said, and I got to be honest with you, I had a liking for that little girl. And she said, "You see that big head boy sitting over there in the corner? He can't read." Well, she inspired me to read and to spell. And once I got the reading and the spelling down, she was nowhere to be found. But it was too late, because guess what? I got the spelling and the reading down packed thanks to her. So that's why I had to correct myself. So the water, getting back to the water, it is definitely a thirst quencher. It's healthy. And is there any hidden ingredients in there?
No hidden ingredients. It's the closest thing to natural that you can get that is not natural. It's purified through a process. Right here in Tampa, it used to be the old Canada Dry. There's a purification company over there called Ultra Pure. They labor it. They take it through the purification situation there, and we package it. And as you can see, it's on the market. We're in Atlanta now. We're in some of the small little cities, area thing. Go into Big John, you go into different little local places, you'll see that outro sitting up there. Everybody like that blue, man, because it's something about that blue. It reflects off the light. And hey, another blessing from the Lord, man.
You know, you said that you thought I wasn't listening to you, but you did come out and you did say I'm an entrepreneur. I would say back up in January, I came up with another word for entrepreneur. I called it, instead of entrepreneurship, I called it executiveship. Executiveship, if you know, basically in my premise is basically saying that, okay, look, I work for me. I'm my own executive. I guide my business. So, instead of saying entrepreneurship, I just started saying executiveship, because that gives you the premise that, yes, you are your boss. You set your hours, you got your open and close hours and what have you. And, you walk with a certain leverage, if you will. So if you will, share a little bit about being an entrepreneur now that, you are walking in a new chapter of your young life.
Well, I always have had some kind of business on the side, but I couldn't take it to the next level, as Bam would say. You believe, you achieve, and then you maximize it. So now I'm maximizing the entrepreneurship gift that God has given me. And because I had an ice cream parlor before when I was in school. It was a family-owned ice cream parlor, in the neighborhood. And I always had some kind of, as they would say, hustle on the side, a legitimate hustle, to keep income coming in. Because, teachers don't get paid no $2 or $3 million, So I always had that other stream coming in, to help if I want to travel, if the kids would need something special, some special events coming up. So since I've been out of retirement, I have actually launched about 4 businesses.
Okay. How are you doing nowadays?
Hey, great. The Bible talks about multiple streams. And why you want to have multiple streams, D, is that if this stream dry up, I still got some more flow going. So right now I do life insurance through Prime America, unlimited income. Okay, you can make as much money as you want, but hey, I'm balancing it out. I am not trying to make no 2 or 3 thousand, $2 or $3 million a year,
So basically, just keeping the flow.
I got some other things going on. Money ain't always the issue.
Yeah.
So Prime America, I got life insurance, a portfolio, Lincoln Heritage. If somebody need insurance, to bury their parents, or they may want to get some insurance and nobody else would insure them, I got some policies that insure anybody as long as you breathe it.
Right.
Portfolio. So I got that, and I also have a telecommunication business called ACN.
Right.
And what ACN is, it's just another platform where people can buy what you buy every day. You buy phones every day through the same company. It's on my platform. You buy internet. All of these different things is through ACN. And of course, you got the Outro real estate. I got property that we're purchasing. It's a family business. And also we have some personalized shoes out there. My son's got a shoe called Outro by Juice by Outro.
So where my shoes at, man?
Man, you get to tell me what size you wear. I keep asking you what size. You be telling me 10, 11, 12.
10, man.
You got a 10? Well,
10, man.
We're going to have to hook you up with some of them Outro shoes, man.
And you already know what color I want.
Yeah, you want that black and gold.
Ooh, black and gold. No doubt. Yeah, 100.
Yes, sir.
So, and your handsome sons, that's 3 of them, correct?
Yeah,
I see that they're highly involved as well.
Yes, sir. I try to model what I want them to do. So if I'm establishing business, I try to give them the first opportunity. You want to direct this? You want to oversee this? Well, I can go on to something else. Because there's so many other things I still want to do, D.
Right.
And if I can get, some good directors and just kind of oversee it, then I can go ahead and do some other things. So that's why I have been able to do as many streams of income or many businesses I've done. I said, well, but Pastor, how can you do all that? Wisdom from God and putting good people around you.
Right. And talk about that. Matter of fact, I'm glad you brought that up. Talk about having good people around you. I mean, people who can manifest your dream, have your best interests at heart. Talk about that. But if we will, can we do a sidebar? Because I did mention I apologize. I did mention your sons, but how is your beautiful daughter? How is she doing?
Oh,
my airport mate.
Yeah, she's doing great. She's she's still in the military, Air Force Reserve, taking care of some business and got some opportunities up in Arlington, Texas, where she's living now, doing outstanding. My sons, I call them Shaq, right? Me, Shaq, and that bad Negro. One at Tampa Bay Tech, one at the recreational league and Martin Luther King, and then I got one a manager at Amscott. So they're doing outstanding, and I think
they're not. If I can interrupt you now, they're not hanging out in the Lions Den, are they?
No, see, I thank God because I have offered my services to so many kids, and guess what? God took care of my kids, and they never gave me any problems. So you reap what you sow.
Oh yeah.
What goes around comes around.
Oh yeah.
So I was able to put them around good people like Tyrone Keys and Donald Doddridge and Dr. Michael Miller, people with light, precious faith and values and with integrity and going somewhere and being somebody. So when you put your kids around those type of people, like they say, what you hang around, something's gonna fall off on you. So I have to thank all of you all, for being them extended fathers as y'all been over the years for those kids.
True. So going back to what we were talking about, having the right people around you, who can see your vision, who's focused as you are, and they have your vision, you have their vision, implanted in your heart. How does that play a role in helping you assert yourself in, different businesses, if you will? And if you flip the script, how do you being involved help them to process, if you will, or propel their businesses and whatever their conquering desires are?
Well, number one, you probably heard the saying, teamwork makes the dream work. So when you have a good team, you can get more done. Not only I have 2 eyes and 2 legs, but now I got 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 eyes around you, could see some stuff that you may have missed, or can walk some places that you can't walk. So when you implant and inspire and model what you want, it's easy for them to catch the vision. And what I do when I selecting people is 2 things, and this is a nugget for all of you all that's listening. It's 2 things when you want to find a good partner. It's 2 things directly you can look at to see if they're going to be a good fit. Number 1, if they say they're going to do something, do they do it? Number 2, are they on time? You just those 2 little small things right there.
Word is bond and time management.
Yeah, if you say y'all gonna have a meeting at 11 and they come at 11:05, 11:15, 11, that tells you something about where they are. They
Wait a minute. Hold on, bro. Hold on.
We don't operate on CP time.
No. Hold up, bro. I ain't talking about CP time. I'm talking about, in all of the employments that I've had, and I even hear it today that you got a 5-minute leeway. What's up with that?
Hey, you had a 5-minute leeway if you called in and said you coming, and then after 15 minutes, I'm going to the next thing.
So
but you can't keep calling. You can't keep calling in every week talking about 5 minutes, because on time is being 15 minutes early. What time did we cook that today before we got on the sock?
Yeah. We were there, 15 minutes prior.
Yeah. So, but
you called in.
Yeah. So if I'd have came in on your show 5 minutes late, how that's gonna look?
Dude, next time I saw you, you'd have been out of some outro water.
So it's a standard. You have to set the standard for what you want people to do. Because if I tolerate that, then I'm actually lying. If I say we're gonna start at 11 and we start at 11:05, I just lied to you. So now we're getting into that integrity thing I was telling you about.
Right.
We got to mean something.
Right, and that can be detrimental to whatever quest that you're trying to conquer.
Yeah, but think about this, D. What about when you finna catch that flight and you go on that same little sentiment they just told you got a 5-minute grace period? Man, that flight gone.
And you can't OJ Simpson through the airport on that one. You're done. You're out of next flight.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. And a lot of people, they missed the boat, if you will, because of the fact that they figure that, hey, I got a 5-minute leeway, or I get there, or they'll wait on me, So a lot of people do miss out on conquering. And I guess it goes back to, early bird, get the worm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
go back to your word being your bond, because
if
you say it, you should be doing it. And if you can't do it, you ought to be saying, hey, I can't do it.
That's right. And don't be embarrassed that you can't do it. So let me ask you this, as we got, we got 8 minutes. What nuggets, as we prepare to close, and again, I want to thank you for giving up this hour of your time, because I know your schedule is packed. You're the man of the hour. But as we get ready to close, what nuggets, five nuggets, 5 good nuggets are you willing to put out to the audience? Something that they can take hold of. I mean, there's nuggets, but then there's nuggets. You feel me? Nuggets that they can take hold of and they can put in play in their life, whether it's personal, family, business, or even playtime. What nuggets, and these nuggets that I'm requesting is they can be from the ministry, they can be from the personal, they can be from the business, or they can be, like the rappers say, let's remix this thing. They can be a mixture of nuggets that you can put out. I mean, just give me 5 quick ones. We got
definitely the orders is for me, and I tell people who I associate with, who I'm involved with, put God first, take care of your family, and then do the community. It's got to be in that order.
Say it again, please.
If you don't do it in that order, it's gonna mess up everything. Put God first, take care of your family. And then you go to the community. And then you do your community. Go to the community. God, family, community. Okay. And then after that, in your treasure box, you always got to have LOVE, love, for all people, not just for your nationality or your ethnic group or culture, but you got to love everybody. And what I mean by that is treat them as if they was quote unquote Jesus. Okay. Treat them like you want to be treated. Okay. So if you can do those four and then come back and go in the treasure box and pull out understanding. The scripture said, and all you'll get and get understanding. Sometimes we mess up stuff or we get involved in stuff that we don't understand. So research stuff, pray about stuff, try to figure out what's going on before you go to running your mouth or go to jumping into stuff. Try to get an understanding of what's really going on. And I think if they'll deal with that, but they're going to have some great success.
Okay. Well, again, I want to thank you, Pastor Muldrow. I know you call me big brother, but we both brothers in this spectrum, if I can use that term. And in this spectrum, basically meaning that, we have a quest, we have a mission. Your mission is a little different than mine. Mine's a little different than yours. However, we meet at the same time, the same place, each and every day. What do I mean? We are inspiring, we're empowering, we're lifting, we're educating, and we are making a mark by making sure that our walk here on earth, how can I say, is a walk that is meaningful, a walk that has dividends, involved in it. So I want to say to you, my brother, thank you, man, for the 30 years and more, and still ticking that you are giving you. And I want to thank your family too, straight from the heart, my brother, for allowing you and sharing you with the community of Hillsborough County, Tampa Bay, with the schools and whatnot, my brother. And, just continue to do what you do, man. I can't tell you no more than what you already know. God got you. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for letting me come down Motivation Boulevard. That's a great place to be. I think that's where we met up on Motivation Boulevard. Because when we was at Greco, we was trying to motivate these kids to do the right thing. So I appreciate you, Mr. DLD, Donald Daughters Jr., all the way from not Baltimore. Well,
the old saying is it takes a village. You know what I mean? And if you're willing, if anybody, I don't care who you are, but if you're willing to give up yourself to help somebody else, God knows there's a ton of blessings that are waiting for you because you are unselfish with your life in a premise or unselfish in your life in a midst of wanting to be a light for somebody else that might be in the dark. And with that said, my brother, real quick, can you put your information out there, how they can get in touch with you, and if they're thirsty, they can get some of that outro water. Can you do that real quick? We got maybe about a minute left, brother.
Yeah, well, a lot of my former athletes, students, friends, or whatever, probably haven't seen in some years over the years, but you can always go to Facebook, Muldrow Pastor AKF on Facebook. You want to deal with the outro water, you can just email me at muldrowpastorkl@gmail.com, or you can call me at 813-550-7147. If you want some of that outro water, just go ahead and Google outro.com and everything will pop up the website. If you want me to deliver it to you, I'll deliver it to you. Hey, most of all, this guy right here, man, he kind of looked like Frederick Douglass. He kind of danced like the Four Tops. Hallelujah. But we thank God for Mr. DLD, who's always been on my side as we run this race to victory. God bless y'all. Peace.
Peace. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning in to the Motivational Hour. And I have been, for this hour, your host, Donald L. Dowridge Jr., motivational guru, Frederick Douglass, among other titles. Check me out also on Facebook. Go to my website, www.DLD Enterprises. I'm on all the platforms. And of course, stay tuned because this is just the first of many more broadcasts heading your way. Thank you very much.